Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's me to go first, and I have a lot of very good bingo-y tiles. But do I have a bingo? I don't think I do. It's a little unfortunate that I'm going first because this will make a bingo with a lot of floating tiles. Now these tiles are so high probability that I would definitely have studied a 7-letter bingo if there is one here. But I can't see it. Certainly one for the Hall of Shame if I have overlooked it. The letters are so good, it makes sense to just play off a couple of tiles. And I'm sure I have a bingo here. Well, I haven't got any single floating tiles apart from the M. So modistes is good. Die-stones. And neither of those goes, unfortunately. I'm in the same situation as my last move in the sense that I'm wondering if I have a 7-letter bingo. Clearly if I do, it'll be a terrible blunder to miss it. Well, I've also got the 2-letter pairs, the EE and the WO. So I've got the wood, or woods. Ah, have I got woodsiest? Gosh. I do. And that has certainly saved my blushes in case there is another bingo that I have overlooked. But woodsiest is certainly good. That happens so rarely, to have a 2-letter pair on the board which actually does make a bingo. And I draw the Q with a U and the Z. So I don't have a bingo on this rack, but I could score very well. Quiz is one way of getting rid of the Q and the Z. And squiz is good. So I've got squiz through the first S of woodsiest. The leave of LNR is not good. I need to look around, especially with the with having the U, to see if there are high scoring opportunities playing off the Q and the Z separately. My preference would certainly be to play the Q off first. But let's just check the score for squiz, because that will be my benchmark. 46 points. So I need to score there or thereabouts to even contemplate playing a different move. E-gestion, I think, takes an R in front. Not 100% sure of that. So squiz for 46. And this is not good at all. 7 consonants including 3 pairs. Although it's not good, it's actually quite an easy rack to deal with because I think almost certainly I will be changing my tiles. I can't see any opportunity for resolving this rack. I don't mind taking a low score if it resolves the rack, but the rack resolution is the real sticking point with this rack. And without rack resolution, I would need a very high score to justify not changing. Well, that's plenty of floaters on the board. Let's just look at the R situation. I am going to change. Now my one good tile is the R, and there's a floating R in column A, so I'm not going to keep anything. Now that looks promising. Regalian doesn't go in row A. I think there's an anagram of Regalian. I have alienage. Yep, alienage, which goes through the second E of readers. Unfortunately, it's not a double-double, and alienage does not have any anagrams. And alienage doesn't hit any double word squares when played through the E of woodsiest. So the other floaters to consider are the D of readers. I don't think ag-nailed is good. I think geranial may have been the alternative to Regalian. Well, I'm not sure about that. But it was blocked anyway. So I've also got the G of egestion. I could play an ing word onto that. And I could play alienage in column 3 onto the first E of egestion, or in column 5. And I think those spots are preferable to the going through the second E of readers, because going through the second E of readers either opens up column 15, or it would enable my opponent to put an S at E11 to pluralize it. So looking at these two spots, this is better than column 3 because of the location of the initial A. Makes it harder for my opponent to use the triple word score at H1. And I now have 6 consonants, but the presence of the single vowel is significant. It will enable me to play through this. Gosh, my opponent is steaming ahead with his bingos. That's the third one he's played. He's 90 points ahead. I need to focus on my own rack. Fortunately, there are plenty of floaters in readers to help, in particular the vowels in the A and the second E. So what do I have? Having. It's quite nice because it places the H on the double letter score. The leave isn't great, but there's not going to be a good leave with this rack. So having scores 34, an alternative would be paving, which would score less. B and the H probably slightly better than the B and the P, but I don't think there's a big enough difference to compensate for the taking the lower score. I'm looking to see if there's any possibility of playing off one more of the high scoring tiles, either through this A or 2 rows below through the E. And I can't see that that's possible. There is still 1 blank in the bag. This isn't a great rack, it's not very synergetic or synergistic. Pubic is good. That would sort the rack out if I could play it anywhere. So I can't play underneath the Z of Squiz because I don't have an A or an O. Certainly want to play off one of the P's. So a word like pub would be a good starting point, and I can play that at I2. Well, I can actually play pubic down here. Let's see what this scores. I do need to resolve the rack as a matter of urgency because as I'm 80 points behind, I almost certainly need a bingo to catch up. And I want to get one quickly, otherwise my opponent may close the board down. Also, there's only 30 tiles in the bag. The pubic here is 21 points, and the rack leave of PT is not bad. Looking at the tiles that are left, there's a lot of A's, a lot of E's, and those would go nicely with the P and the T. And I'm also providing a floater in the C of pubic. I can't see any way of stretching across to the double word square. Just need to be sure of that because that would certainly score well. No, I can't see a way of doing that, and I can't see anywhere else to play pubic, which is better than where it is at the moment. Gosh, still no A's and E's. Well, maybe my opponent is suffering a surfeit. I have the J and I have a vowel, so I should be able to play through this without needing to change. Just trying to see if there's anywhere on the board where I can play the J. I could play gin at J10 for 26 points, but the rack leave of PRTTU is pretty dismal. This is still an open board. There are bingo lanes in column 2 and row B, so I don't need to despair. Right. So I do want to play off my J, but I also want to improve my rack. Just looking at the vowels in row M, the I, the A and the E, I can't see a way of playing through them. So gin, having said the rack leave is terrible, I haven't seen anything better. I guess having only the U is quite inhibiting. I note that there are no U's left, and also I don't have any vowels, so the retention of the U isn't as bad as it would ordinarily be. And there's only one R and T in the bag. There's no P's, so my rack may improve. Well, it shouldn't deteriorate. Is there anything better than this? Well, jug at A14, but that's not better. That burns my vowel. Scores a little less. Yeah, I can't see anything better. Good. I have puttier, which doesn't go anywhere. Okay, but I have a balanced rack, so I ought to be able to play off a few tiles, resolve the rack and leave myself with a strong leave. If I played PT and U somewhere, I would be leaving myself EIRT. That is quite a strong leave. And even playing off just the U and the T would leave a good leave in tripe. I need to be sure that puttier doesn't go anywhere, that I haven't overlooked any spots. And also that there isn't a bingo through a floater now. There's the floating C in pubic. And I don't think there's a bingo through that. I note that gin takes a D in front and there's a D unseen. MA takes an S and an A in front. I need to be sure there's no anagrams of puttier. I'm fairly sure there isn't. There's nothing through the Y of very. I can't play through the R of very unless I also play through the I. Just quickly seeing if I have got anything through the I and the R, but that's very unlikely because that would place the U fairly low down in the word. Okay, my opponent has not provided a spot for puttier. I guess I should have given some more thought to where I was going to play my P. I certainly want to play off the U and the T, and then the P I'm assuming I'm going to have to play in order to score. And I'm looking at the score. I'm 59 points behind. So if I could get 20 odd points now, a bingo would take me into the lead. Well, I'm considering pure down here. It's not as good as using PTU. It only scores 14 points. That's not a great score, but that's going to be my play if I can't find a better one. I note that column 4 is a bingo lane ending in an E at H4. What else is available? Just looking around the board, seeing what there is, and I can't see anything better than pure. And what's annoying about pure is that it doesn't score very much, and it leaves the duplicate T. The duplicate T would be easier to bear if I was scoring well. Now, actually, using the same letters, I could play down here, and that's for 26 points. That's a lot more score. Now, The only reason why I'm not playing this straight away is a slight doubt about regestion. It really would be a big mistake to play this and then have it challenged off. Yeah, I don't need to play it here, and pure here, although it obstructs the floater of the sea, opens up... Well, it doesn't open up a bingo lane. I thought it would open up a bingo lane ending at L13, but it doesn't. Okay, I think I am going to go with the regestion play. I think it's good. Well, it's not a great pickup. I'm 33 points behind. Oh dear. Nuts. Okay. Ah. Oh well. And now my opponent's got 65 points for Axite, which Per would have blocked. Okay, I think this game is slipping away. I'm 80 points, 120 points behind rather. And I'm still 110 points behind my opponent on turn. I don't have a bingo. So, there's 9 tiles in the bag, 7 on my opponent's rack. The bingo lane is still open in column 4, but has just been shut down. This is looking bleak, but I still need to play the winningest moves I can. I do have the D to put in front of Gin. So I certainly need to play off the F. F doesn't feature in many bingos at all. And I'd like to play off one of my T's, and that may not be possible. 5 tiles left. I could play Fur across here. And, well, that's 20 points. I can't see a better spot for the F. I am retaining the D for the Gin hook. And I don't have a bingo which plays there. Onto an E I would have Antedate. There are just 3 tiles in the bag now. Can't see any 7-letter bingos on my rack. LO doesn't take anything in front of it, so column 1 is not a bingo lane. My opponent has wisely blocked the bingo lane in row C. A bingo now is not going to be enough to win, but my opponent has left 1 in the bag, so although I don't have a bingo now, I ought to play off 1 tile and maximise my chances of going out with a bingo. So the bingo row is column I, making Gin. I need to see if I have a bingo using any of the remaining tiles in that spot. Okay. There is the blank available, so I've got all 26 tiles to consider. What I don't have is time to consider them all. So if I'm playing off just the 1 tile, do I play off the A or the T. There is an A in the bag. It's very difficult to, without actually playing for a specific bingo, it's very difficult to know which is the right one to play off. I'm just looking around to see if there's any good scoring opportunities for either the A or the T. Well, if I play my A here, that opens up a bingo lane in column 2 and may alarm my opponent, so I will do that. And draw an E. So, do I have anything beginning with the Y of very? No. Do I have anything with the D above gin? No. Do I have any 7-letter bingos? Dentate is good. That doesn't go in front of atch. Okay, so I have dentate. And I don't think dentate has any anagrams. It doesn't go in row C. My opponent is close to a bingo. He's got foot bar, which actually goes in column 2, so he may be going out with a flourish. I have to see if he spots foot bar. He's got 12 minutes to find it. If he doesn't, what am I going to do with my rack? Well, he didn't spot it, which is good. It's made the my losing spread less bad. I've only got 50 odd seconds, so I don't have much time to spend on this. My opponent with AOR blank is certainly going out. Well, this is certainly not optimal. But I have run out of time, and it isn't going to change the result of the match. My opponent has many opportunities to go out now. He can play oars at h12, immediately above dent. Okay, so I click pass to end the game. And my opponent wins by 476 to 324, so quite a low scoring game for me. Let's see what I missed. I think it's likely that I missed some bingos here, so this should be interesting. Phew, there wasn't bingo on this opening rack. I don't think there's much between DOE and OE. This was my woodsiest play, and it was the only bingo, so I'm pleased to have seen that, and I wouldn't have been overly annoyed with myself for missing it, because it's not an easy one to see, and there are very few 9-letter words which one would expect to play. Cans, J3. Right, so there was an alternative play which played off the Q and the Z, scored only 2 more points, but the rack leave was better. LR is better than LNR, so cans would have been a better play. This was when I changed the alternatives, scoring in the low teens with dreadful rack leaves, so changing was better. Alienage at h3, well, I played it at h5. and geranial was good, so that was a 9 timer that my opponent blocked with dork, and those were the only 2 bingos. That was the highest scoring play. This is where I played pubic, and I could have played pub at I2, which, well, it opens up column A. Po takes an A and a U in front. So pub for 21, pubic for the same score. Not very much in it. Gin for 26. Well, I'm surprised. I thought there might be something better, but looking at the other suggestions, gin is the best of that bunch. Right, there was a moment's hesitation there before the suggestions came up. I felt I was close to a bingo here. I had puttier. Putty was playable at A1. Well, that's interesting. Putty would have played in row A, making EN, and it would have also provided floaters in the floating P, and the second T of putty would have been floaters, so perhaps that would have been a good play. It would have increased my chances of drawing the blank. Although I note that my opponent had the blank. This was when I played... Oh, okay, well, let's just go back. So this is when I played my phony, and looking at the non-putty plays, yeah, none of them are standout plays, so it's difficult to choose between them. And putty was still available, and the rest were very low scoring. Fatwa at H1. Wow, making alum as well. Well, that's a nice looking play. Scores 39 points. It wouldn't have opened up any bingo lanes, but it was a nice word. Days. Making jar and nep. Yep, that would have been good. And days was still available at this point where I played dent, so definitely days would have been better here. So that was that. I lost heavily. I didn't miss any bingos, and I was glad to spot woodsiest. So even when you do badly, it's important to well, enjoy the game and be glad for what you have spotted during the game. Certainly playing woodsiest was a good feeling. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching that game. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.